How do you defeat units now? You just turn them off. That is where we're at. Let's get into this. This is a crazy banner, and this is a lot of fun. So, all right, we've got New Year's units, and first up, of course, we have Nerthuz. This unit is interesting, and I don't know, I feel like this is supposed to be set up as a Gale Force Initiator, and I'm not 100% sure that she does that well. There are so many things you need right now. The biggest is damage piercing. I will say that after using her regular form, she hits harder than you think, but it's still... Okay, we'll get to it. Canto 2, awesome. Slaying. We've got attack speed, defense res plus X. X equals max cooldown. So if you've got a 5 cooldown special, it's 15. And then neutralizes. So we've got full no follow-up and damage reduction of 25%, even if it's brave. At start of turn, if unit is adjacent to only beasts or dragons, you get the standard dragon transformation here, where it's attack plus 2, inflicts attack defense minus Y on foe during combat. Y equals number of spaces from start, so there's that clash effect. And also Y is greater than 5, reduces damage from foe's first attack by 30%. So this is great. We've got a lot of damage reduction here, which is going to play into the stuff we have next because she has her standard B skill. We have a lot of great stuff. Aether's fantastic. Again, I feel like you're going to want to do Gale Force on this, but we'll get to why. Attack speed wild. If number of adjacent allies other than beast or dragon allies is less than 1, or if unit is transformed, grants attack speed plus 7 to unit during combat and special cooldown charge plus 1 to unit per attack before combat, and restores 7 HP to unit after combat. It's that last piece that I hate. And other than that, this was okay. It was kind of like a better blade, right? We have, especially for calves, all you have is heavy blade, and it's so hard to meet those checks right now when you're doing Gale Force. This is a way around that, but for Gale Force initiators, you really want to not heal, and this does. So that is tough. Like that's a big hit for this unit, but still, I mean, we had the HP condition already in the weapon, so this is kind of an okay. Maybe this is even more of a melee nuke. It's hard to place this, and that's kind of the problem with this unit. Like, it's kind of hard to place her. What do you want to do with her? At start of combat, if unit's HP is greater than 25%, inflicts speed defense minus 5 on foe and reduce damage from foe's first attack by 40% during combat and until... So this is basically the Ice Mirror thing, which as much as you reduce, you reflect back, which is great because this unit gets a ton of damage reduction. So you can imagine how much stuff is going on. It also neutralizes special cooldown charge minus X, which is fantastic. So we've got that half tempo, and then gravity on target and foes. Speed defense smoke 4 is fantastic as well. This unit probably sits better at summoner duels in the cav line range, but that's a hard... There are very specific units that do well in that, and this one's going to be a tough one there. The way you would run that is with Miracle. We'll get to that. I'm going to rank her as a Gale Force Initiator because I think that is a more widely used archetype, but just know that is a thing that you can do with this unit. It's fun. This is really interesting to me because the player base was begging for a Gulveg that wasn't blessed, and instead we got a Kvasir. So this is still a good unit. But the thing we wanted was that Gale Force with the 3 actions, which would be really neat, and they are definitely locking that behind AR defense or, of course, in Chaos Season. For Kvasir, we've got Faded Paper Fan, we've got Slaying. If unit initiates combat or is within 2 spaces, grants Omni plus 5, reduces foes' speed and res during combat by 20% of units' res, and reduces the percentage of foes' non-special... basically, you get 50% piercing here. Then we get, if it's the unit's first combat, you get reduced damage by 70%, and that includes Brave, which is really nice. We've seen how good that is on Kvasir. And if unit initiates combat or unit is within 2 spaces of an ally, after combat, if unit attacked, inflicts status on target and foes within 2 spaces of target, preventing counterattacks through their next actions. So as a defensive cav, this is really neat. As an infantry ranged unit, this is a much more competitive market there, and that is tough. it doesn't hit the absolute hardest, but it is about staying alive and then having other units be able to warp around you, which means that this unit is really more of an ARD unit. And for that, you need some kind of warping, or you need a lot more support than just standard Kvasir needs. Light as Time is interesting. It's that same thing. We've got a ton of stuff, and you remember the big piece of that was that you get either you're dancing a unit that has already acted and is within 2 spaces of you, or you are having Time's Gate on you, which means that allies within 4 spaces can warp to you. That's good, but again, this is more of an ARD thing than an SD thing. So you're really limiting where you can use this unit, and keep in mind one of the things that makes Kvasir good is that she's also a defense mythic. So New Year's Kvasir is lacking that, but Flash Sparrow is excellent fodder, and let's scroll down and see what else we've got here. Lull Speed Res, we've seen it before. Infantry Null Follow-Up 4. This is a good upgrade. It's not absolutely amazing. It's not just bonkers off the wall, but instead of the standard one, you get Null Follow-Up on yourself, as well as the units within 2 of you, and you also get orders, which, I mean, again, that's good. We like this. Of course, combined with the Times Gate, it's a little anti-synergistic, but you're probably taking that off this unit anyway. So again, we have a unit that's kind of an interesting niche. What we're looking at here is that Brave Marianne type role, and she has some other neat things that she can do. I feel like just like Brave Marianne, you're going to get teams that use her very well, but I think it's going to be difficult to make sure you use her correctly, if you know what I mean. Next, we have Mailkana, and I know a bunch of you have been waiting for this unit. I get you in my comments a lot. So this is fun, and this is a good demote. This is solid. Dragonstone Plus, you get an Omni +4 and damage reduction by 20% of unit speed. That's nice, and that includes Braves. And also you get Null Follow-Up, so based on speed, which is good. You get the standard adaptive damage. The real thing here, though, is the fodder. Attack Res Scowl 3 is a very nice skill on a lot of units. We're seeing it start to get kind of proliferated through more units now, but particularly in the buy list that just happened. This is a really nice thing if you've got Attack Res Scowl and you want to inherit it to a bunch of people. Dragon Wall 3 is also a really good B skill still. So even with all the damage piercing, which just seems like it's going wild right now. Okay, here we have the star of our show, and this unit is really interesting. So this time we've got Seiðr, and she is a flyer. We're gonna look through this and notice that you get the same end turn effect. They're gonna call it Times Grip, and you're going to see this unit go up again and just quad, which immediately you're wondering what's going on and you want to know how exactly this is happening. So we've got Goddess Tamari, and we've got Slaying. On turn 2 onward enables Canto 1. And here in a second, you're going to want to ignore all of those turns, but for now, we're going to read them. If unit's HP is greater than 25%, grants attack res +6, and foe cannot make a follow-up attack to unit and allies within 2 spaces. That's a nice little effect, although so many units have no follow-up that it's not really as great as it once was, but definitely a throwback to the original unit. And then at start of combat, if unit's HP is greater than 25%, grants Omni +5 and the following effects to unit during combat. You get Omni +X, X equals turn number ×2, max of 8. On turn 3 onward, unit deals +Y damage, Y equals highest total bonuses among unit and allies within 2 spaces, excluding area of effects specials. And that's kind of good. There's no limit on that. And yeah, that's nice. On turn 4 onward, if unit initiates combat and unit's res is greater than foe's res +5, unit attacks twice. If Times Gate is active on unit, or if Times Grip is active on the target or any foe within 2 spaces of target, turn number is treated as a minimum of 4. So if you've got Times Gate or Times Grip, all of this stuff is active. So basically all of the stuff that Heiðr gave out, you get that for free if Times Grip is active on a unit. And Times Grip, it's that end turn effect, so it's that gateway that you saw, but it's also Omni -4 during combat, and neutralizes unit skills during allies combat through unit's next action. It's like a feud skill, but basically it just isolates one unit. For instance, if you were to do this to Elamine, Elamine would no longer give out damage reduction to other units. So once again, they are driving the fact that they want to give us bonuses and any area of effect weapons like that, any drives. They're trying to nerf those as hard as possible. But this is really interesting. I want to talk more about how this unit is going to be used a little further down the way, but Sabotage Speed Res is excellent. The speed version of this is perfect for so many things, particularly, I mean, Summoner Duels and Aether Raids both come to mind, but Future Sighted is the one you're going to want to pay attention to. After foes start of turn skills trigger for the closest foes in cardinal directions of unit. If unit's res is greater than foe's res plus X, X equals distance from unit to foe times 3 minus 5. It's very similar to the way Seiðr works. It just the further away you are, the harder this is to activate. And if Time's Grip is not active on foe, so they're trying to prevent you to be able to use this on multiple different units, or have just like a line of Seiðrs. That foe's action ends immediately and inflicts Time's Grip on foe. So Time's Grip is what we saw just a little bit ago, and if unit is within 3 spaces of an ally, grants Omni +4 to unit. Unit makes a guaranteed follow-up attack and reduces damage from foe's first attack by 30% during combat. That is a mouthful, summoners. That is just nuts. Okay, one of the things that makes Seiðr so good is that she is an offensive mythic. And so you are required to use at least 3 of those if you want to max score. So being able to put her in and have this active is kind of amazing. This is still very good. It just is interesting, and again, we talked about, I mean, if you can't beat a unit, maybe you just need to turn them off. Having this unit plus Seiðr is kind of an interesting thing, and what can I say? Maybe you just turn the entire team off. That is a new Gale Force thing. One of the things I'll say with Seiðr, and something you want to keep in mind, is that she is more powerful as a player phase helper than as an enemy phase helper. And that is, as cav lines become more prevalent, that kind of shifts. But the thing you're looking at is when you get to warp in and end the turn of 3 different units. That is incredibly powerful. Versus on player phase units, you get to end the turn of 1 frontline unit, which is still good and can be key, but it's not as powerful. So having this unit on a player phase team could really help you turn the tide of the action economy warfare that goes on with any kind of Gale Force clears. For Summoner Duels, understand that this unit will be mostly worthless on turn 1. That could be good, that could be bad. It is a risk that you have to take. On the larger maps, this could be incredibly clutch. So keep that in mind, and having this unit line up properly could really do some damage on the right map. The important thing here is that this is active on every turn, whereas Seiðr OG is only active on every other turn. That's huge. So this really opens up some more interesting strategies in SD. I don't think this is going to be an absolute world breaker, but I do think that she is going to come in clutch for players that know how to use her on the right map. So just keep that in mind as we're going through. I think this unit is a lot of fun and very good, but we are probably looking at a unit that is a tech toy as opposed to a core unit. And we have Duo Skill, which is Time's Gate, so it's that warping effect, and then special cooldown charge +1 per attack during combat. That's all good, and that's to unit and allies within 4 spaces, which is nice. Just to give an idea of how powerful that is, though. Yeah. That's a large range, and being able to warp like that is powerful. It's not guidance 4 powerful, but it is very good. It's like Uber orders, and for certain strategies is going to be a lot of fun. 4 spaces is a ton of range. Okay, we're gonna jump right into this, and the first thing I really wanna look at is Nerthuz as a Gale Force initiator, and I really think she's more in that tier 1, might even be top of tier 2. I think she is good. Probably on our bonus season, you're gonna have a lot of fun because then you can have extra supports. It's just hard to carve out space for that kind of unit when we have the Gulvegs and the Edelgards of the world. They are not hard to get because you do get a spark on Edelgard that you can get her with, and they are much better at this. I mean, they can get 3 actions where Nerthuz can only get 2. We did talk about as a melee nuke, she's interesting, and more as a miracle nuke, but that is less good now because of all of the damage piercing that is going on. If we're looking at Kvasir, we're actually kind of in the same space. And the problem is we're looking here at secondary initiators, and that's really the issue. Kvasir really needs to have another unit go in and hit something, and then this unit to come in and hit something else, and then she dances that other unit, and then you keep on going with the chain that way. That is not as valuable as an initiator proper. The problem is what I ran into, and I know Marianne fans are going to scream at me here, but most of the time I'd rather have a dancer. That's just the thing. But this is still, tier 1 is very good. If this is a favorite of yours, I think this is very usable in that way. Kana's solidly tier 2. I know we have a lot of Kana fans, but look at the tier 0 and the tier 1. Like, these are really powerful units in their own right. Kana doesn't have a preference weapon, but does have very good fodder. I believe if you want to use this unit, you're going to be able to. So keep that in mind. Lapis and Zephyr are both really good. All right, here's where we really dig into this, and I've got 2 different tier lists for this unit because I want to look at this. So the problem is this is the like the tale of 2 units. If you're looking at Seiðr on turn 2 onward, this is where I think she ranks in that top tier. I think she's excellent. On turn 1, I think she's this good in any kind of AR mode, but I think in Summoner Duel, she drops down to really tier 2. And that is a big drop, but there's so many effects that she needs to either have Time's Grip or Time's Gate active on. So understand that is the range. Right now we're on a map that really doesn't activate until turn 2. So on this map, she will be meta. On the faster maps, she will be lower than that. As far as support goes, and I thought it was important to show this, I think she is a tier 1 support. She does provide a lot of things to her teammates. I don't think she's as powerful as, say, a legendary Robin or legendary Hinoka, who I still think are very, very good. And I mean, Katria is in that same tier just because she has been nerfed so heavily. Like, the mode she's good in right now is SD and not much else, whereas I think a lot of these other units can be good in more than that. Keep in mind we have a ton of banners right now. This one hits on the 1st, and I believe we have the next one on the 10th, so a really quick turnaround. We also have the winter banner, and of course legendary Camilla, who is very good, so budget appropriately. Members, thank you for all you do. Take care and schedule an appointment with your FEHologist real soon.